and a really warm welcome back to my channel, Pumpkin Becky. My last garden tour was back in September last year and we are now mid-May, so it's about time I did another one. Lots has changed, lots going on. Let's go and have a look. Let's start you off with the raspberries again. They're growing really well. Canes are coming up. This is a currant and you can see there are fruits forming there. The rhubarb, which I moved from the allotment, is doing beautifully. We've already had a couple of crops from it and I'm going to be able to continue cropping. So I've got 4 of these bags from Wilkinson's. And they're filled with compost and rotted down chicken manure. The blueberries are flowering beautifully, so I'm hoping for a really good crop this year. We've had a really strange start to the year. We had 2 dumpings of snow, we've had 2 heat waves, and we're now in a slightly cooler phase. The plants haven't known what to do with themselves, whether they should be growing, stopping, going into hibernation. It's been a bit crazy. This flower bed filled out like this within about a week. It was amazing. So I've got lots of Heuchera coming through really beautifully. That is probably chocolate Ruffles. And I've also got Obsidian. These beauties are a perennial wallflower. I bought them as little plants last year and they have just gone absolutely crazy. They're so happy here, which is wonderful. Traditionally with wallflowers you're pulling them out every year once they've done their thing, but these ones you can leave in and the colour is just gorgeous and it ties in really beautifully with the Heuchera. I've got some lovely purple Aquilegia here. I've got some burgundy Aquilegia with a white centre. They're gorgeous. Something I wasn't able to show you last time was our solitary bee nest. Where you can see filled up holes on the bamboo canes, that means that solitary bees have laid eggs, and they lay the eggs along the tube. They put some feed and then they block it off once they've laid one egg, and then they lay the next one, store some feed, build another divider, lay another egg, and so on until the tube is full up. I've got some strawberries coming, but to be honest, the likelihood is that the mouse is going to get those because he always beats me to them. My little fig tree has some beautiful figlets on it. Looking forward to those. We've had some quite big storms here as well as everything else, so I've had a lot of dead wood come down from the hawthorn tree, but in spite of that, look at that blossom. It's stunning. And when the sun comes out, the smell is almost too heady. I've got a purple iris about to come out. Here are my sempervivum pots that I replanted, and if you follow me on Instagram you will have seen photographs of those once I refreshed them. Oh look, a stick. You can see the hellebores have gone over now and gone to seed, so that's why the insides here have puffed up beautifully. They are full of seeds. There's lots of baby hellebores. This fern's leafed out beautifully. Some more sweet Aquilegia. And another one. And then tucked in low here underneath is Bugle, which is a really fantastic carpet forming wildflower. Got a French lavender next to the potting shed in a long tom. That's just coming out into flower again. There is a stick supporting the roof of the summer house because there's a chance it needs some remedial work on it. Add that to the list. This bed's got a bit of a mixture of stuff going on. I'm using the walls to house my growing bonsai collection, which I have not really introduced you to yet at all. There's another Sempervivum planted there. Here is a stunning azalea that I am going to be developing into a bonsai, hopefully. Absolutely rammed with flower. I bought that reduced at B&Q in the winter. But some more bonsai starters. A nice olive, which again I bought from B&Q. It's already in a really nice shape, so I've just pruned it back a bit to see the structure. Here are my baby leeks. I always sew those into a long trough. Lots more bonsai starters. And then here is my big investment tree. This is a Chinese quince, which I bought from Windybank's nursery. The Fatsia japonica's taken a bit of a beating this year. Again, I think that's to do with the weather. I've had to remove an awful lot of leaves, which is a shame. I might have to remove this stem altogether, but I know it's sprouting from the middle, so I'm not overly worried. All these pots here are growing food for Mr. Stompy. Lots of weeds, wildflowers, grasses. All sorts of things going on for him. All unfertilised. We're in with the chooks. We have a bit of a situation. Jane's not right. She hasn't been right for a long time. I know. She's got very poor balance. She keeps standing on her own legs. She's struggling to stay stood up for too long on her own. She's at least perching, so that's a good thing. I just have to prune her beak back a little bit. I'm going to have to do that again. But this disaster here is a very, very broody Buff Orpington Miss Felicity Lemon. She is the broodiest girl ever, and she makes the sound of a dove. Thank you. She puffs herself up, and I'll bet my life that she's sitting on absolutely nothing at all. Bunty's just laid a lovely egg. Bunty? Yeah, you laid an egg. You did. She's so shy. This is one of the square foot beds. At this end I have got asparagus crowns planted, and I have had some stems off already, which is lovely. I put some peas in last night just before it started raining. I need to support those. I've got some broad beans which were actually a batch that my neighbour had sown and were too many for his garden, so he said, why don't you have them? And they were just a fraction ahead of my own broad beans, but actually mine have caught up now. Got lots of leeks. These are last year's leeks. I'm going to leave them in a bit longer and they should start to fatten up. Some are looking not too shabby, but the others are a bit spindly. In this side I need to get in and take out all the old parsnips which are now starting to bolt. I've got brassicas in here which have bolted. I have to keep a very close eye on the leeks, it would appear, because this one has bolted. I've got some more broad beans, and you plant those 4 to a square, as you do with the leeks. And I've got some onions that need to go in as well. I've started them off in modules, and they are now ready to go out in the ground. My spring planters are just about over now. The pansies are still trying to flower. They've been bashed by rain this morning. Tulips are finished. This planter, if you watched last week's video about Stompy the tortoise, you will recognise the absolutely beautiful flowers of Tulip Angelique. And either side of this one you can see there are some alliums to come up as well. I have done a couple of summery planters. This one has a nemesia in it that I actually overwintered. It has a lovely purple Aquilegia. It has some petunia, several colours. Here's the Aquilegia. And then for late summer interest, there is a beautiful dahlia. If you watched my Halloween video, you'll recognise this planter, and pansies have been absolutely amazing. They are still going strong. Such a beautiful colour collection. I didn't think I'd like them, but actually I do. So we're now next to the summer house, and our little tiny pond is here. And look at that Ceanothus. It's almost ultraviolet blue. I know that's not possible, but the blue is just so blue. And growing through it is this little tiny Clematis. Here's our little pond. We've had a frog in here all winter long. We've treated the water with a blue dye to try and help keep the pondweed down, but it's determined stuff. We have a rush here, just a little one. You might just be able to make out it's breaking into bud. This is a little solar powered water feature which you can use on its own. It's got a big reservoir bucket underneath. It came just in copper and I verdigreed it. Here you'll see I carry on my purpley theme. I've got lovely Heuchera allium. That's a really sweet pink Aquilegia. I think that Heuchera is called Autumn Leaves. And then another geranium. This is another solitary bee thing. Nest, yes, nest. This is from the Mason Bee Guardian scheme, which we are a member of. We got sent cocoons earlier in the year and they have all released quite happily. The rose Jeff Hamilton has a bud. It has lots of buds. It has lots more buds than I realised. I love Jeff Hamilton. I'm looking forward to that. I've got an amazing deep dark Aquilegia here, which looks gorgeous next to the alliums. Got phloxes coming up. The greenhouse is a bit crazy at the moment. There's things coming out, going in. Just about now at the point where we're unlikely to get any more frost. We had 2 frosts a couple of weeks ago, which was a bit of a shock, but hopefully that is well and truly over now. I've got things like Cosmos and Dianthus in here waiting to go outside and harden off. I've got some geraniums that I bought on from Plug Plants. I've got some dahlias that I potted up. You might remember that video. They've done absolutely nothing, so I obviously lost them. Never mind. Got some more geraniums, some bacopa. I love bacopa. It's a really gorgeous plant. I use it in my borders and I also use it in pots. Got a cute little Heuchera seedling come up that I found. I'm struggling with cats in my flower beds at the moment, so this is something from I want to say Jade Parker's, called Cat Shoo. Hopefully it'll work. I'm going to plant those out. I've got Fuchsia Annabelle. I've got some Impatiens there. Impatiens. Lobelia. Zinnia. I haven't had any of my pansies come up. Stompy. I've got a hollyhock. I've got a few coleus. They look like they need pricking out and maybe putting into something else. Those zinnias are coming along quite nicely. So all the hollyhocks there. Some more Impatiens. I've had an awful lot of rotting off with the Impatiens. I'm not very happy about that. Another tray full of bacopa. I've got some sweet peas, Spencer mix that need to go out and start hardening off. Some more geraniums, they need to harden off. Some more Cosmos, they need to harden off. Some lettuce, I need to pick those and eat them. This is Nemesia Rhubarb and Custard, which I'm really looking forward to. I have one rot off and die. My carrots and my parsnips that I said, you know, you were going to get them sown and they won't hang around long in here. Well, they're still in here and I haven't planted them out yet, and yeah, goodness knows what they're going to be like. I've got petunia and some more lobelia, sorry, down the back there. I bought some succulents from my favourite barn shop where I get my chicken feed from, just the other day, but they were not being looked after in the best of manners. The soil that they have arrived in is just completely wrong. It's far too wet. I'm trying to actually dry it off so I can get rid of most of it. So I bought 2. This is a gorgeous chunky one. I really loved this. But oh, the soil is just so wet. Yes, I'm afraid those are slug pellets. I'm using them incredibly sparingly. But my dahlias were being eaten to nothing before they could even put shoots up. So what I'm doing, is drying off the soil as much as I can, and I will be transferring them into my lovely cocoa peat mixture. And last but not least, my carnivorous plants, which are doing beautifully, and look at these amazing flowers. Ugh, sundews are all beautifully dewed up and growing. It's giant spinata, which is catching prey. We've got carnivorous traps forming. Yeah, we're well underway this year. But I still haven't had any success with growing them from seed, which is a shame. I hoped that would go better than it has, but can't have everything. So there's your May garden tour over and done with. I hope you enjoyed it. You can see there's lots going on here in the garden. Slightly too much for me to keep up with, but I'm doing my best. Right, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to rate, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye!